that you've been part of. It's been, I mean, quite interesting talking about ombuds, and I'm really, you know, that I'm really interested in that because of this creating this space for an organizational mediator. So you've of course heard me on that, but I'm going
Yeah.
to
Well,
let
thank
you
you
come.
so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. But I'm going to let you come in, and it's going to be you in just 1 minute. Let me just put up what we're doing so that it's just out there. Conference, I would have asked you to tell me about the conference, but have you watched some sessions? Have you familiar with what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what it is. The World Mediators Conference. Last year, you were also part of it. We had a session there also. And every year now, 18th May, Ken Cloke's birthday, we start this conference because for me, he's like the grand old man of mediation in the world. So to celebrate that, I celebrate that as World Mediators Day. I used to keep saying I celebrate it. Now because other people have joined the celebration, I'm saying we celebrate it. And of course, organizational mediator versus organizational ombuds, and also lots of interesting topics which we can get into later. But first, we have to find out about Jared. Please, Jared, I know you, but let's just a little introduction.
Sure. Of course. Well, thanks for consistently hosting these areas of discussion and conversation for uh, topics of dispute resolution to be discussed, and the importance of that, and highlighting all the different interesting aspects. You have such a wide and broad level of categories surrounding mediation and things surrounding dispute resolution overall. And so I really appreciate just being able to have these conversations with people around the world. About myself, yeah, my name is Jared. I am have a background of being out of California in the United States. I went to Pepperdine's Law School, the Strauss Institute for Dispute Resolution, to study dispute resolution. And that kind of started me on this path where I have mediated in the LA Superior Courts, as well as on Oahu, as for their family and their district courts, and continue to do a little bit of that today. I have helped out as kind of the case managers with mediation systems for nonprofits, and have now been an ombuds. I switched over, and I've been an ombuds at UC Irvine for the past couple of years. I've greatly been enjoying that, and also look forward to continuing to see where I go next.
Oh, that's really nice. The thing is, yesterday we had a session, and it ended up as more like a Pepperdine reunion kind of thing. There were,
Yeah.
I mean, these people themselves, of course, one did not know, the others were. When the introduction happened, three of them were. Another one joined us. He was. Then someone else joined us. She was from Pepperdine. I mean, it was quite an interesting kind of thing. So,
I'll have to go back and watch that one. No,
yeah.
but yeah, Pepperdine definitely has a very robust program, and I've been fortunate to join one that has been robust for a while. So it has a lot of alumni that has come from there, and it's interesting. I still interact with some of them, or run into other people that I hadn't known before in the dispute resolution field, and because of that connection.
Oh. In anything, I mean, you must watch that. It was a very interesting session. It was on
Okay.
diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and mediation. So
Mm.
it was, I mean, I like that. It was obviously, look, I like all the conversations, all of them. I enjoy each of them. But what we need to do you think for a minute we can put up the schedule and just have a look at it, if you're okay with that,
Of
and
course.
then we'll get into the conversation, because what happens sometimes, I put these topics up, and sometimes I also don't know. I sometimes, I mean, of course, I put them down there, don't remember what topics are some. This way, I'll also go through what's really happening. So, of course, 18th of May, we started with this Ken Cloke's birthday celebration. People, the heart of the mediation process, clarity, compassion, and curiosity, how to get comfortable conflict. Look, all this has happened. I mean, imagine almost a month back. Did it all happen situation is happening here. Redefining mediation spaces, neutrality, polarization. Of course, I've been trying to get in sessions in other languages. We've got Spanish and Portuguese. Right now, it was Portuguese before this. So let's get more people from everywhere. Did you watch any of these?
Let me see. Some of them I may have watched on YouTube, and some of them may have been when I had found them had been from the last year's World Mediation Conference as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to one that you had just done, as well as so the DEI one, and then on my list to watch was also ones related to some of the technology and mediation. I know you had one on artificial intelligence, so to look into those as well.
Yeah. So, but you can join any of these sessions. The Zoom link remains the same. You can just drop in. I mean, that was the idea, that anyone can come in. Yeah, anytime, whenever you have time, see a live session happening. You know that, of course, you have the schedule, so you know the time in any case. Just drop in. Just drop in. If you tell me in advance, I put your name down. It goes out in the social media posts also. So obviously, if you tell me, I mean, the social media posts for all of them keep coming up, like the tomorrow's sessions, the posts have been put out today. So normally I'm doing that, but maybe on the weekend I might put up all of them for the next week. So that's about what is happening. Some people are still to give me the topic. Alexandra has to give that here.
So who often is coming up with what you'll be speaking about next? Is it people who will be participating and you get volunteers to talk about something specific, or you often more have certain ideas laid out and you look for people?
No, I mean, of course, I invite people and I tell them, you choose a topic, whatever is close to your heart. They give the topic that comes up on the schedule, that goes out. And Erin is here. Erin was there yesterday. She's also from Pepperdine. And of course, Erin, there seems to be again a Pepperdine situation happening. Jared is also from there. And Erin doesn't unmute herself normally. She wants us to lip read, which we have become all right with it. Yes, Erin?
Good morning. It's nice to meet you, Jared.
Nice to meet you as well.
So we were just going through. Yes, Erin, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Have you had a look at the schedule?
Yes, I looked at it yesterday.
So I was just telling Jared also, if you want to participate in any of them, definitely, like you have come in here, so you can obviously join in. If there is any particular session that you want to tell me in advance, let's put your name up there. But I was just telling Jared how it works. So basically the information goes out. So people give the topic. That goes into the schedule. Schedule is lying there. People say, okay, I want to attend this one. Their names come down there. Coming in just like that is also an option. Not too many people do that. I think they think that, oh, they have to tell us in advance kind of thing, but anytime you can come in. So Erin, what we're talking about is organizational mediator versus organizational ombuds. And with Jared and some more ombuds, I've had a lot of discussions on the ombuds program, because for me, that program, the office it has a lot of things that they do, but the mediation part of it turns out to be quite a small aspect of it. And I am trying to create, for me, the idea is that mediators should have work. You have to get them work. And this, for me, organization mediator is a position which should come in, an outsourced one, I would think. Well, we can have a discussion on that. I mean, I never or normally put my thoughts out of this. It's always, so we're open to that discussion, Jared. I'm not saying it has to be like that, but my concept is keep it outsourced, and okay, whenever it's required, they can be called in, but at least someone available, which slowly creates the trust within the organization. And as they keep doing their work, the trust increases. So, I mean, this is a position where, yes, trust is the factor, not just in organization, in general with mediators. So I felt if you have that in long-term relationship with this person, I think that with the confidence within the organization builds into the process because of that. The issue is the usage of the process. if that doesn't happen, because maybe the person is not available. So if you get the right person in, process gets used. And for me, the thing is that that's also a community, the organization. So there are people who will then take it back into their workspace, into their life, into their communities, into their families. So then becomes a kind of I mean, a process they've used, identified with, experienced, and then it's like a multiplier effect for mediation. Something, those are kind of my thoughts there. But of course, Erin, a little introduction of yourself, please.
Oh, sure. My name is Erin Moynahan. I also went to Pepperdine. Pardon me. I have a dual degree from them. One is in legal services and the other is in dispute resolution. And I just started my own business called Courageous Engagement, and I'm a personal advocate. I'm an external ombuds for my local Mendocino County Youth Project. And so I was really interested in this topic specifically because I just started my external ombuds office as part of my business.
So nice. Good. And of course, I think Jared, of course, has introduced himself, but maybe later I'll take you through one report that Georgetown had put out. Daniela has been part of our discussions, and she's from Georgetown University. She's an ombuds there, and they've taken out a report. We'll go through that because there I saw their mention of mediation being a very small aspect. Of course, Jared will tell us from his experience. So please, Jared, please tell us how you look at it.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of on the Ombuds side, mediation is definitely a core part of one of the skills and techniques we employ to help improve communication channels as a function of our office. And so when visitors come to us, and for people that may be watching that may not know what a visitor is, it's a general term for someone that may be within the organization that can bring a concern or dispute to the Office of the Ombuds, and are sometimes called visitors. And so any visitor could come to our office, and sometimes as they begin explaining what their concern or issue or conflict is, they realize that mediation could be a great tool, among other things such as providing more resources from the Ombuds office, or just receiving some conflict coaching. But oftentimes mediation can occur. Now, in terms of a percentage of how often an Ombuds does a mediation of it, in terms of its time, in terms of other ways of assisting a visitor, I'd say that widely depends. But our office at UC Irvine has probably does at least maybe a couple mediations each month or so, maybe one or two depending on type of situation. Sometimes depending on if you include a little bit more of the shuttle diplomacy, longer term mediation, which may not be directly in the same room and immediate. If you include that in, that's something that we often do as well, because we do facilitate a lot of different types of negotiations. And so with the broader definition of mediation of just facilitating negotiations, that does happen on a more often basis, depending on how you look at it. So that's a little intro about how I view mediation in the Ombuds workplace.
But do you also take out a report on this? Do you have an annual report
yes,
kind of thing?
We do an annual report, and currently we haven't been publishing it publicly, but
because this is what Daniela had put out. So when I saw this, so that's a very small part of what they do. Why I am talking about the small part is because then the core competency of the person has to be looked at from the kind of work that's coming to the office. So if you are going to, of course, it'll be ideal to have that person who can do everything that goes into that office. Let's see what all she talks about. I mean, she's spoken about that. Okay. Okay, so this is what she puts out there as to what the activities are. So, so this is what you were saying about the shuttle diplomacy here. So there is a lot more that's happening there, definitely. So, Erin, how do you look at this?
As I, well, I look at it in my current role, I find it to be pretty accurate. A lot of what I will be doing will be helping to not necessarily mediate, but negotiate through situations that occur every day in the workplace. And I think mediation is going to be an excellent tool to help should it come down to it. But I'm really kind of hoping as the ombud that it will not come down to having to mediate often throughout the business. And I feel like those numbers are accurate because as an ombuds person, you are there clarifying things that need to be clarified. You're there listening, you're there supporting and providing maybe some ideas. And you're doing that for everyone in the organization from the top down. So what I've learned just briefly in my time doing it is that, just talking about the situation helps. And then figuring out a plan of action that maybe doesn't consist of mediation first is very helpful. Mediation seems to be like the last thing that we'll do so far in my experience.
Look, the thing, look, how I look at it is that those people with the mediator mindset, they're not so many in this world. Okay. But yes, a lot of activities are looked at as mediation and people do that activity. But we need people who have that mindset to be doing this only because we don't have too many of them. So that was my that was one of the reasons why I said let's look at it as an outsourced concept and that person doing exclusively the mediation part of it, and everything else that has to go into the office, of course you can have someone else, because we need these people to be doing work for lots of people. Now Jared is only doing it for one organization. We need him out there to be doing it for tens of them. So that's when mediation takes off, when good people are actually doing it. So on the other end, we were, of course, that artificial intelligence session also, we were speaking about this, that ultimately some people say that we will make a mediator, and that, of course, I keep saying 40-hour factories, that you can make a mediator. But if you can make a mediator in a 40-hour factory, then you can make a very good machine to be a mediator. It's just putting inputs. That's what you're doing. We'll put an input. We'll tell this machine or this person what the output has to be. Of course, both of you may have seen that session. I don't know, but that aspect of showing empathy and feeling empathy difference, what we were speaking about. So to show it, machine can learn very well. And look at the numbers that we'll have so many mediators out there, the ones who are made mediators like that, and the ones who bring the human touch, and that they're actually human beings rather than machines. They will have then they can do all those nice things that they have to do. So that's why this discussion keeps coming up. So Jared, please, your thoughts on that.
Oh, well, I definitely will have to watch that session on artificial intelligence. That definitely is very pertinent today. And a question that a lot of people are asking, about what can be replaced and what cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. But one thing that I thought you had mentioned that was interesting was the concept of, and kind of bringing in that concept of organizational mediators and more internal work versus outsourced work, which ombuds may have a lot of internal organizational ombuds. So of which I'm one. So I solely look at the constituents, both of the university that I'm at, as well as people affiliated with the university or anyone that has a university related concern or question, even if they're not necessarily a student or an employee. But it's still surrounded by this singular university. There are definitely outsourced ombuds that do work for different organizations, whether that is governments or for corporations, for nonprofits that do this type of mediation or ombuds work and do a lot of mediations in that stead. And similarly, as you're talking about, there's definitely mediators and that both do outsourced mediator work. So they'll come into an organization for a particular issue or problem, or maybe they're contracted to have to be kind of a mediator presence if anyone needs it, as well as having internal mediators. So sometimes organizations do have someone that is more hired, or maybe they have a similar role. Maybe it's like an HR manager that has been trained in mediation, has gone through mediation classes, that now has set up like a mediation program wherever that they're at, and does it that way too. So there's a lot of different ways and combinations of how these skills that cross mediation and ombuds work end up being brought into the conflicts and where they are. So that, I think that's interesting to see, and how that continues to take shape, especially now with the advance of technology, breaking down barriers of location and geographical space, and having access to people and to disputes that before would have been tough to jump around to physically.
Well, look, I don't know whether you've read about that World Mediation Circle that I'm creating, and as part of that, creating mediation circles in, of course, communities, schools, and also organizations. So when that happens, that this person who's the outsourced mediator, for let's call this person the outsourced mediator, that person creates that circle in the organization. But what needs to be done is identifying those people with the mediator mindset within the organization, and then creating that resource internally. So it's about then those people who have that mindset within the organization being used within the organization for simple things. I mean, if there's a contract being drafted, get them into that picture. If there is any kind of dispute that comes up, these people should be the ones brought in first. The outsourced person comes in, can then come in later. So this person is creating that whole, I mean, the resources within, because I'm telling you, the people with that mindset, mediator mindset, there are not so many out there. So we have to bring them out. It's so I just felt that way it works well. So the person has a role to play, and then he's gaining much more experience. So comes in maybe more complex things you want to bring that person in. But otherwise, these people who are already within the organization have the mindset, you creating that culture within the organization of mediation. So that's the thought I have behind this organizational mediator and the mediation circle. So some
Definitely.
thoughts on that,
Yeah,
please.
no, that's a huge, I love that. The only thing better than a mediator is 10 mediators. So I love that idea, and being able, because I think a lot of people sometimes naturally have these skills. Even if they're not formally trained in mediation, they're still mediators, right? In the workplace or with your friends and family, even if you're not trained and you don't know these conflict skills, a lot of people are still in these situations where there is conflict, and they play the role as a mediator in many senses. And one of the things that I actually love about being an ombuds is that you have the opportunity to do training and to create more mediators and to create more people that are better informed about conflict. And I think that's perhaps that's one of the benefits of being an internal organizational ombuds. One thing our ombuds office does do is every year we do a very comprehensive basic mediation training. And we have a large group of different people throughout the university. So in a single classroom, you will get undergraduate students with doctors or nurses from the medical side of UC Irvine, with administrators, with faculty and staff members all together. And we do a full week-long, pretty much 40-hour mediation training for the exact purpose that you're talking about. Because we realize that there are other people that frequently engage in different types of disputes wherever they are. And the hope is that what we're trying to do is teach them about listening, about asking questions, about going through a more step-by-step process of mediation, to be able to get some practice about what those situations look like, how to have empathy, and how to potentially diffuse situations, so that they could take that back throughout wherever they are in the organization, as well as their personal lives as well, to be able to better handle disputes. And so I think I'm glad that you bring that up. That's a really valuable part of, I think, the role as an ombuds, but just for anyone to be able to do, and is a good goal to be able to take some of the skills that we do have and make sure that other people have them as well.
Because whenever you say training and whenever you say to tell people how to have empathy or show empathy, I am saying those people who do that, let them do it for machines. Program those machines in this way, give them that content. They will have access to obviously the best material in the world today itself. I'm sure they've already picked up all those resources, all our chat GPTs and others are already picking up that content. So they have all that in them. All the best universities you might go to, they have thousands of those universities within themselves. So content, not a problem. Showing things, all that is available. All the training programs in the world, just put it into that. Nothing, and let that machine do that work, because I'm telling you that the part of making mediators that's happening, and when you said 40 hours and that part of it, the output that you are getting, I sometimes feel, even I mean, I've seen some people who've gone through that. It's a very, very theoretical, do this, do that kind of thing. Okay, it's like input output kind of thing. I think the machine can do a better job than that. So I don't think there should be any fear for the mediators also, or anyone there, if a better job is being done. I don't know. Erin will have her thoughts on that. Erin, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with both of you. I believe that training people to have conflict resolution skills, especially throughout an organization, is one of the best things that we can do. I think that, you know, when I was in negotiations with my contract, it was very important to me that they understand that I want to build a machine, a program that works without my presence. It works within their own organization, and they won't need my business after it is, you know, set and going. That's my hope. And then my hope is to go around to organizations that need that and help them get on their feet and move out, because people need to be able to go through their own conflicts on their own. And a lot of people just don't know how, or don't have the skills to handle themselves well throughout their conflicts. So they end up, you know, needing help and support down the way. And I feel like it's very, very important that we teach people empathy. And as Bill Eddy has empathy, attention, and respect. I'll never forget that. I use it all the time. And those are the things that I think about when I'm helping people walk through their conflicts. And then as far as your AI, that was interesting. That's an interesting thought. I haven't really considered that before.
Because whenever you look, like you said, teach people empathy, I'm telling you, a machine will learn faster. All that teaching on the actual feeling of it, let's keep those to at least leave that to the spiritual gurus. Let them do that for people in terms of getting that feeling of empathy. But up till the time we already have those people who have that basic human, whatever, connections and everything.
For me, I start in schools. I started in my kids' school, where I want to teach children empathy and attention and respect and active listening. And I feel like if children were taught these skills early on, we would have a lot more mediators in the world.
No, look, the way I look at it, I mean, of course, you people will tell me that's the correct direction I'm going in. And I'm misunderstood on this also. I keep talking about the mediator mindset and the mediators. Whenever I say training and everything, I am talking about it from the mediator perspective, that I don't think you can teach someone to be a mediator. So, but on the other side, all this conflict coaching and other things that you need to do, all those good things should keep happening. But what happens is that we think that from this training, we will make this person the mediator that I am talking about. I mean, look, again, the machine mediator or the human being being made into a machine mediator, those all things will always keep happening. But it hasn't helped mediation. Mediation for me, according to me, isn't so popular because the making of a mediator through a 40-hour factory or whatever does not work. There is much more that happens there, and that's why we need to these people who have that mindset. Be it's children in school have it everywhere. They're all there. It doesn't come from anything where there is any content that has to be given to them. It comes from within. So they have that in them. They're doing it. They're practicing it. All we are doing is we getting those people together and saying, these are the mediators, the human mediators. Okay. On the other end, there is all these good training programs that we've put into place where we think, we don't know. We think this is what goes into making a mediator. So we've all sat together in various places and we've created this. I am saying it's a very limited understanding of what goes into a mediator. And for me, if you have followed what I do, again, these three words you will hear me say a lot: heart, soul, spirituality. These three things are the ones you can't put into that machine. Maybe machines also, maybe we don't know what's going to happen there. But today, let's talk about it. Maybe the heart, soul, spirituality aspect. This comes from these other people whom I call the human mediators. Everything else on content for the mediator part of it is available. There's lots that people have put down. I'm saying it's still limited because you don't have any words to explain the energy of a person, be it in a mediation or in otherwise. We don't have any way to say when Erin walks in, what energy she's bringing as an individual is unique to her. I can't even maybe put it into any kind of, I mean, if 1, 2, 3 checklist, okay, does she have that? No, it's not going to happen. At least I feel it doesn't happen. So that aspect of it, let's not just tell ourselves that that understanding is limited. And for us to say we've got all the content required to make a mediator, I think you're fooling people. And I keep saying that's an industry which has developed on fooling people that we'll make mediators, hasn't been good for mediation. I mean, why is it not popular? I mean, everyone talks about it and oh, it's damn good and everything. But at the end of the day, on the ground, it's not really happening. And when I see those disillusioned people who come in and then they say, oh, I was thinking this practice was developed, it's not, now I'm walking out of it. You don't feel good about it because they have the mindset, but the popularity of the process is not there because I feel it went to the wrong direction there. So for that reason, I'm saying that those limited people that we have, those limited means with still large numbers. It's not that they're still large numbers, but they're not as large as is being created. So let's keep these human mediators. What terminology do you want to use? Human mediator, or what do you want to call them? Or
Well, that's an interesting concept that I've not thought about this before. I've not heard about, this concept before. So it's quite interesting.
so what we'll do is whenever we refer to mediator, it will be the human mediator. And
Okay.
then a person or a machine which has been fed content and we are told that now we are making a mediator, let's give it some other terminology. Let's not call it a mediator, let's call it something else. What terminology can we use?
What did you come up with in your AI session? What
Yeah.
what
No,
terminology did you use for
we
that?
were just talking about this aspect. Of course, look,
Oh,
it
okay.
was a little older generation there. So,
Oh,
of course, these were thoughts that take time for people to understand that this can happen with machines. Content can be put out there and what output happens. So what we did was we opened ChatGPT and we had an actual session. It was a simple one because look, we just came up with it. I just opened ChatGPT. So it's very simple that Mohammed was supposed to supply books to Shireen and did not do it. So Shireen, of course, the delivery did not happen, is not going to pay. So we just have a very simple thing. The kind of things that came out from there, let me see if that, obviously these chats are saved. So let's just, I put the chat out and we can also do an example right now. That's not a problem. So let's see what we went through, because I'm saying that if this is available on a first response basis to people, why not you just give it to them? Why not? Why should they not? And this is just something. Okay, this is how it was. Okay, this was what that conversation was. Just tell me how fast I should move this up. It's very simple. Okay, it's very simple.
Oh, wow.
And this was happening real time that time when we were doing the session.
Wow.
Okay.
That's crazy.
First responder. This is the first responder to whom you contact.
I think that's an excellent idea. It gives people tools to work through their
Exactly.
conflict.
Exactly. Have a look at it. Let's read it. I mean, this went on right at that first answer that came. Shireen felt, oh, this is it. No, I said, this is just the beginning. It's moving forward. Okay.
Thank you for sharing your perspective.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you put like so-and-so says this and so-and-so
Yeah.
says that. Oh my goodness.
You just had to start with telling ChatGPT that you are the mediator. That's all you had to tell.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you know, online dispute resolution has been going on, and I know artificial intelligence has certainly been popularized, especially now for things that are so easy to access, like ChatGPT.
Sure.
But these machines have already been handling a lot and resolving a lot of disputes. I remember doing some research programs that helped places like eBay is a pretty notable example, have already been handling, you know, millions and millions of disputes each and every year in similar ways in terms of now it would look a little bit differently in terms of
because this
the way that they're trying to encourage the different conversation, but it looks like some of the steps might be the same, proposed solutions or ways of looking into information. But
no, because I think this part, what you were saying about these bots which are being used by organizations, are the sort where it is a simple solution. I want a refund. This was not delivered. Okay, send us a proof of something or whatever, and based on that they will decide, because of obviously the huge numbers involved. But here you're talking about some creative options to come out, which even if they might not be, I don't know, but I'm just saying that this can be generated by a machine today. All that aspect of training and everything that you talk about is just content. That's all. When you're saying telling people how to show empathy, I picked up that word because we had a session on empathy and mediation where also Eunice was giving us a presentation. I said, all this that you're telling us how to do this, you should do this, you should talk like that, you should do that, why not just put it into the machine? I mean, that's what you're doing. Aren't you just programming a person? A person has it or doesn't have it. If the person doesn't have it, that means you're programming them. So why not? Because the numbers that we need in this world of mediators, if this is the first response available to you, at least you can start something off. Rather, today we are at zero on this because people don't have access to these people. The culture that I'm trying to develop with these circles is that, yes, the culture starts there in the school. These actual human mediators, which we are going to call mediators, these mediators exist. Create an environment in your school where these people come in and they're available to you when a dispute happens. But up till that happens, because the numbers that you need are huge. I mean, you imagine how many schools there are. I don't know. I keep asking. I keep doing this little quiz. How many schools are there in India, Erin?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Okay, how many children are, okay, let's say, how many children are there in schools in India? Let's just look at it that.
Lots.
That's another. with India, anything that you say, you just add lots to it, it'll work. But Jared, any guess?
In students in
Schools
India, in just
schools.
just number of schools?
No, just students in schools in India.
Students in schools in India. Including higher and tertiary education?
No,
I don't know. I would say maybe around 300 to 400 million.
Close, very good. That's exactly about what it is, about 250 million. So about the population of the US is in schools.
Okay.
So if we have machines available to start with, and then this whole culture developing and these people identified and the circles being created keeps happening on the side. So obviously the human mediator gets put out there and they're available. But up till then, why not have this available to the kids? Let's start that whole thing, that at least when you have something, use chat GPT for a good thing. And of
Oh,
course,
definitely. Yeah.
as it goes along, well, it already has a lot of kind. This we did a simple example. We can maybe try a more complicated example. Only problem is Jared is short of time, so maybe we might not be able to do it. But we can always do it at some point of time. More complex way because we just came up with something that time. So that's from the aspect of, be it the organizational thing or wherever, that access is available to everyone, and let's give it the best content available. And I'm saying it's already available to them, but certain programs in terms of training manuals and all might not be publicly available because this can only pick up public information from the internet, what they've picked up. But if we create a conflict resolution artificial intelligence, we don't need our artificial intelligence to know what the politics of some part of the world is. Maybe not. I mean, of course, in mediations, in that case, you might need it. But I'm just saying that you can just create this also. I mean, there are lots of thoughts. It's not just that you have to have entire solutions to the world's problem. Here, it can be the content in relation to conflict resolution can be put out there. All that is available. It's not that it's not there. It's already there. So creating that. So organizational mediator, organizational ombuds versus organizational machine mediator, what we call that, or machine ombuds, or whatever is going to be. So we have to give our thoughts there. So something Erin has thought of. Yes.
I think it's really interesting. I like the idea of having a first direct line to conflict resolution within your immediate organization. I also feel like it will help children if they have access to it. They already have computers throughout the day. And quite frankly, a lot of them don't want to go to a peer mediator anymore. So that might be a good solution. I haven't thought about this at all, Vikram. So this is all a new concept. And I like the idea. I like the idea of people being able to help themselves through conflict. This world is full of conflict right now, and there's definitely way too much conflict for all of us to handle. And so I agree with you.
What we're going to do is Jared is going to take us through a real example that he's seen, and let's put it into ChatGPT. I won't share the screen up till now. Right now, we'll take it through. Let's see how it goes. Then I'll share the screen. So Jared, this is a machine, yes, but don't think of it as a machine. This is a mediator. Now you've come with an issue, a real issue. Two people, whatever two issues they could have. Let's put it there. So X and Y, whatever the name is, Jared and Erin. So now you've come to the office. Both of you are visitors, or whoever's the visitor, however it starts. You can take it like that. So Jared has come in. Jared has come to the mediator. Okay, you're a mediator. Jared has come to you because what is the issue that you're facing?
Let's see let's say I feel that there has been let's say I feel like there has been some discrimination. I felt like there had been some discrimination based on protected class, maybe my race or my religion, that has been affecting my work. And when I tried to bring it up, I felt like there has been some retaliation now.
Okay, now let's go specific, because he feels that there has been discrimination on the basis of his race or religion. What do you want to say?
Let's do religion.
Of his religion by Erin. Okay, let's go specific, because okay, by Erin. Can you start with that? Right now, let us see.
Yeah.
Let's share the screen. Let's see how it comes. Doesn't matter. Whatever comes out, we'll see. Okay. Okay, so this is what he's asked you to do. So please, let's go by what he says. I'm saying he. We don't have to say he. I just came out he. Sorry, Erin. It just came out he. What do you want to say? It. What do you say? It. Look, it's still, I still say it's intelligent. So I always, whenever I put in the thing, also I say, please do this. I always say that, please do that. I am still thinking of it as someone who has a lot of intelligence, maybe wisdom also as we go along. So yes, Jared.
Let's see. Let's say that Erin, it says the relationship. Let's say Erin is a supervisor. So Erin is a supervisor to Jared. And did we end up choosing religion or okay on religion? And let's say Erin has scheduled work where Jared typically practices a religion and holds that
Has scheduled work?
as a day where he doesn't work or cannot work because of
and
a religion.
Jared cannot work on that day because
it's a
in
day
his
that
religion,
is
in his
has
religion,
spiritual significance or is holy or
his religion, or his religion, let's say his religion doesn't allow him to work on that day. Okay, simple.
sure.
Simple. We put it like that.
Yeah. Keep it short. Yeah.
Okay, this is what's going to happen. First, it'll be a private meeting between, let's call it something, please. We have to give it a name now. Mediator GPT. Okay.
Yeah.
Mediator GPT.
That-
Okay, so Mediator GPT will have one meeting with Jared and then with Erin. So, and for what reason that meeting is happening also is quite clear. So,
Okay.
Okay. We're actively listening, problem solving.
so giving you exactly how it's going to go about it.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's giving opening statements and everything.
Yeah. Now, okay, you are in a private meeting with Jared.
Oh my goodness.
Mission to work on certain
And
days.
also the next part,
Clarify your religion.
what would you like to tell us? The day that
I'm not sure.
Erin asked, the day that Erin asked me to work is a day prohibited by my religion to work. What else do we say?
There you go.
What else can we say? That's it. Okay. And then
I don't know, relevant practices or restrictions. Huh.
there is no way I could have worked on that. We can give it language as you would talk to anyone. Thinking. Mediators thinking. There is silence in the room.
Well, we didn't give it an exact religion or reason or like what
We
day
should
it
have,
was.
yeah. Yeah, we
I'm
should have.
So we'll
interested.
see what happens. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Exactly
You
what I'm
could
saying.
put yes or
Oh,
oh,
yes,
still
I
going.
had. Yes, I had mentioned this in my what? In my initial application,
There you go.
the organization. Tell us, Jared, anything? Any specific outcomes or combination you like to see?
Um, let's see what happens if you put in something more like I want Erin to be reprimanded. This is a different Erin than the Erin in this room, but I want Erin to be
It is the Erin
reprimanded
in this room.
and
She's a bad woman. She has made you work
so
on, asked you to
terrible.
work. I want Erin to. Okay. Yep.
and would like her to apologize.
That's a good one. I wonder if it will walk through the stages of an apology.
Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. That's it. This is live demo.
Oh my goodness. It's important to approach this with focus of finding a resolution.
Any other concerns? No. No other concerns. Please, let's give it some.
I like that. I will encourage a constructive
Thank you for
conversation.
meeting me. Let's do that. Let's be nice to it. Always be nice. Be it a machine or human, human made.
Mm.
I say thank you to Siri. I think it's just something we need to do.
Mm.
Okay. You are now in a private meeting with Erin.
Jared asked for a day off where we had a full, or let's say, an all staff meeting that was mandatory.
Look, I'm not the fastest at typing. Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Yes. That's it.
If it was any other day, I would have said yes.
Would have said I would not have asked him to come.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Providing him with meeting materials in advance, arranging for a makeup session or summary of the meeting, or exploring the possibility of rescheduling the meeting if feasible.
Tell us, what do you think of this solution?
It was extremely important for him to be a part of the team.
No, but what about the solution that he's talking about? Anything on that?
Um,
Mm.
What? Oh, but let's look at what he's put out there. We could we have provided him in material in advance? We could not say we could not have provided him material in advance because this was. Because there was no material in advance.
yeah, it was an emergency meeting.
There was no material to be circulated. We were going. What were you going to do? Going to discuss what? Our future, whatever. Okay, no, you tell me. We were going to discuss.
I wonder what it would say if it said, if we talked about like something emergent happening and all staff having to be there because it was
emergency situation that had been created. So that's the thing, that when we don't have an actual thing, That's when I keep talking about this role play concept that people have in terms of training. It doesn't work. These are actual emotions and actual situations happening. Makes a lot of difference. But we are going to go through that just like a role play. We were going to discuss an emergency situation that had been created, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was extremely important for him to be part of the team and discuss a very serious situation that had been created.
Yeah. See, that's why I wanted it to be that, because it becomes more challenging to find a solution that
But
accommodates.
it's still important to explore potential alternatives, could strike a
Yes.
balance.
Yes.
But look, the nice things are coming out. What I'm trying to say is, at least there is some person, I'm going to say person, available to at least put this in someone's mind, making Erin think of it from a different perspective.
Mhm.
First responder.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like what it has to say. It's really great.
Okay, so one possible option could be to involve Jared in a separate discussion or briefing session
Mhm.
before or after the meeting to ensure he receives the necessary information and has opportunity to contribute. He can still be involved in addressing the emergency situation while adhering to his religious obligation. What do you think?
Involve Jared in it. Yeah. I like what it has to say. It's offering really great ideas.
That's a great solution.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, now we have to bring Jared in. Jared, if you finished your coffee, can we bring you into the conversation?
Yeah, definitely.
Joint meeting with Jared and Erin. Confidentiality protected. Tell me, Jared, what do you think? We have explored the possibility of you being involved in a separate discussion or briefing session before or after the meeting, allowing you to receive the necessary information and contribute to the decision-making process. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Does it address your concerns and align with your religious observance?
You could say, I feel that it doesn't, I feel that it doesn't address the harm of my reputation in the workplace and Erin outing my religious faith.
My reputation, done to my reputation in the organization as someone who doesn't want to be involved in the whatever. As a person who doesn't have the best interest of the organization, something like that.
Oh,
best interest
if you want to do that too, yeah.
I'm just putting it out.
Maybe if, yeah.
What I'm trying to show you is best interest of the organization at heart. Okay, something like that. Let's see what it has to say. We can always change it.
It's crucial to acknowledge the unintended consequences that Jared has mentioned and the negative perception it has created regarding his commitment to the organization.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Twofold approach: an apology acknowledging any unintended consequences, restoring the trust, and open and sincere apology can go a long way. Second, we could explore opportunities to create a platform for Jared to showcase his commitment. Wow. Providing opportunities for him to skills and interests by providing a space for Jared to demonstrate his abilities. He can counter any negative perceptions and rebuild his professional reputation.
Yes, Jared.
Huh.
Interesting.
Mediator GPT would like to hear your thoughts on this approach. Yes, it would be.
I'm not
Say yes,
sure if
Jared. Say
this.
yes. Say yes, Jared.
Oh,
Yes.
I guess yes. Oh, well, I was actually going to comment on what you guys think on
Yeah,
about the response of this.
It's a very interesting response.
exactly. And this
I
is
don't know how the reaction, if this was happening, how Erin would feel from straight out being asked to apologize. And then the second one being if Jared had already point blank mentioned that he doesn't feel very committed to this organization, about the suggestion that to explore opportunities to create a platform to showcase his commitment, seems to not understand the statement that I just created. But
and I would further piggyback on that Erin might be very upset at, okay, Jared's not going to be able to come to this meeting and it's an emergency meeting. And now I need to create another way for Jared to show his commitment to the meeting that he can't be at because of his religious, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be, for humans, that might be very difficult.
interesting.
yes. But the point
What do you
was to
think?
what
Yeah,
the
Vikram.
idea was to show you that we have all this available for access
Yeah.
by people. Make it better. I'm saying make this
Yeah.
better. Give this machine lots of more content
Yeah.
and make it available to people at large. This is something on scale. If you have to do it, this is the way. Don't make mediators in 40-hour factories. This has got thousands and thousands of hours of training. Think of it that way. Because
Well, and if we put in our responses and our perspective, it will help it grow and learn from our respect, you know, so.
Exactly. Because when Jared doesn't accept something, it was picked up from there with that this kind of a situation, the person will not accept this. So then it tells you, and then you say something, and that's exactly what the learning is. What else is machine learning? That's how the intelligence comes in. It's basically, which is what we are. Aren't we learning the same way? So that's what experience does, but it's getting experience on, imagine millions of situations happening. If everyone takes advantage of it, today people might not be having this conversation with Mediator GPT, but they can do it. So
yeah,
this is what I
and
was
these
trying to show.
conversations might bring them closer together because, you know, talking about the fact that, you know, Jared and I just talked about, well, maybe Jared wouldn't be happy and maybe Erin wouldn't be happy. And then having that conversation together, you know, why aren't we happy? What can we do to make that better? And maybe putting in the responses into the GPT, like I said, will help it grow and learn. And maybe one day it will be a little bit more effective.
What can be done? Of course, a lot of people might not want it, but if there's some people who have that actual dispute, bring them onto the session and put it out live and them taking it through ChatGPT. But we can do that later. Initially, we don't have to put it live. We can ask someone. If Jared has some people and wants to experiment, they have a dispute, tell them we are trying this out in the organization to use it. Let's put it in that and get your response as to what did you feel at the end of it. So similarly, people can start doing that with actual situations in a closed environment. And it's just an option given to them that this option is available. We're just checking if what comes out is acceptable to them and how do they feel at the end of it. Because in terms of showing empathy, there was an example of this was done somewhere and people came out very happy with the machine, better than what they came out with the human. So it's all happening out there. So that's why I keep saying that these 40-hour factories, or could be hundreds of hours of factories, this has much more available to it. So work on this in terms of making mediators, and the ones who have the mindset, keep bringing them out, because the human touch aspect will be required also in certain spaces, and let that environment or that space work with them. And where this can work, this is available. So let the human mediator come in at as available as a step also. If you're not happy with what's happening here, maybe that could be an option. It's a two-stage process.
Oh, no, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
No, two-stage process. First, mediator GPT, then human mediator. Maybe we can think of it that way.
Well, definitely. I think that I mean, AI is such a powerful tool now, and people, the race had already begun, but now the race has become public of what can you do with this? How much can you make with artificial intelligence? What could be the potential effects? And now it's just, it's going to exponentially grow. But I like the idea of it has a huge amount of knowledge base, but not may be able to do, you mentioned the heart, the soul, and the spiritual aspects, that's which are essential to individual mediators and the work that they do into how to be able to interact with others. And in addition, I feel like although that the AI currently, and it's not to say that might not have this in the future, does have really well done responses and information and background to be able to supply a lot of the skills and information about how to do those skills on the individual basis. Sometimes that does look differently in terms of how can we best use this tool to do something like someone wants to practice how they're viewed when they're listening, and in the terms of, hey, I want to practice my skills as a listener when I'm doing this, or when I'm nodding my head in this way. How does that come across? How do you feel? Or when I say this thing as a mediator, what would be your reaction as a person? And how did that make you feel? And although I feel like artificial intelligence might not have that as well, and asking ChatGPT those same questions, you would get a different type of response than a person might. And I think ChatGPT could get there and add some of those individualized human elements and interactions and the feelings of reactions and trying to build upon that. I think it's, as you mentioned, you might end up needing both, or not that you might end up needing both, or it would be more efficient and best to use both in the future in a more integrative way. And I'm not sure if, as you're mentioning, Vikram, that looks like first ChatGPT and then human mediators, or if it's more like a combination. You're looking at both at the same time. The mediators are talking about the heart, the soul, the spiritual, while using ChatGPT to emphasize what that looks like in terms of some of the basic skills, or how that comes across and how they're speaking or acting. But I definitely think that it will be used, and to the extent that people use it, we'll see as the technology develops as well.
No, what I'm going to do, Jared, I'm suddenly now going to take you on, it's like one of those drone concepts, and I'm taking you high above. Now look at it from the global perspective. Various corners of the world, people obviously have their disputes happening, and access to mediators in general. I mean, you look at, just look at, now you're up here, there is this particular village in Africa out there, and in terms of access, machine access can be easily provided. Internet connectivity is an issue, but you can create these centers there where people can go and they have this conversation with this. The other problem that's coming up is that, will you let a machine observe mediations? Machine is only, it's going to learn. It's going to learn only what you show it. So are people going to be willing to let machines observe the mediation and learn from it? Or are people going to be too insecure to let that happen? Because learning from actual human interaction is going to happen only if you let it observe the human interaction. Are you going to let cameras be there for it to actually, or microphones to the tone variations and everything? Will you let it do that? Because you need to let it do all that if you want it to learn. Right now, what it's going to learn is from the theoretical part, which is available, which is also a lot. In terms of humans who are put through training programs, they have a very limited access to material. This has access to much more material. So in a way, it's already learned much more than what various TR factories in the world are giving. Today, you are looking at it from your own experience, or the opportunity that you had to go to a certain institution. Everyone doesn't have that opportunity. But the content that your institution had provided you can be available to it. The interaction that you had with someone who was teaching you, that interaction, will you let it do that? Because that's insecurity, that okay, if we give this out, then what are people going to come to us for? Why are they going to pay us money? If all the lectures that you went for are available, cameras are there, and it picks up all those, it will pick up maybe different things than what you picked up, and it'll pick up everything what you picked up plus more what Erin picked up and more. So it's got that collective kind of intelligence coming in much more than what people are picking up. So will people let that happen? Because ultimately it all comes down to, I have to make my money. I'm not going to let that go away, because this will be accessible by everyone anywhere in the world. So I'm saying people have to sit together and say, are we doing this for a better world, or are we doing it as a commercial enterprise when we are going about and imparting knowledge? Because imparting knowledge is a business, and it can also be something for the good of humanity. For any other, it's for everyone else. It could be the medical sciences, it's like the pharmaceutical companies. Are you doing it for the good of humanity or to make money? We are going to protect our patents, and we are going to charge you $1,000 for something which another country gives for 50 cents. I mean, give you an example, actual example, what you provided in terms of diabetes injections and medicines. Come to India and see what the prices are. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed how what the differences are. So this is where decisions have to happen, because those people want to make their money and they're protecting it. Similarly with education, how much of it is protected? So Erin has lots of thoughts on this. And all
Well,
those thoughts.
I'm fighting internally because I paid a lot of money for my education, a lot of money. And I went into my field for two reasons. One, to help others, and two, to help myself and my family, right? And so as a conflict resolution specialist, it is my dream that people have access to conflict resolution all over the world. I would love to provide free mediation services to anyone and everyone who needs it. That my heart lies there. But the truth is that I cannot make my life work that way. You know, I have to be able to unfortunately live the life of, humans right now, which means I have to have money to survive. So on one hand, I am all about it. Let's have this computer in there, and let's let that be a free service for everyone who needs it. On the other hand, the skills that I learned, I learned because, I went to school and I spent that time. So if it's going to be something free that, a computer is going to sit back and learn more than I am in the classroom, then why am I paying to go to school and get that education when I too can sit back and watch the videos and learn from it? And I am a human mediator. I've been a human mediator my whole life. So that skill is going to be inherently within me. So watching these videos is going to bring that inherent skill out in me anyways. So then what is the point of paying for higher education at that point?
Okay, let me make it easier for you. This is what my life is right now. On one end, I want to provide content free for everyone. Ken Cloke's words of wisdom should be available to everyone in the world. Why should it be in closed spaces, which is what I did?
Yeah.
I go through the same issue. I've put it out on my website. Have a look at it. It says my
And
wife and daughter asked me, why don't you do your work instead? Because that's where money is, and work in this world, it's all out there. I mean, I don't even have to say this, because I put out everything that comes. Let me just put it out there that it's already there. It's not, because I understand what you're going through, and you have to make a choice. You want to do something on for the larger good, or you want to do it because, and you're not wrong. Basic needs have to be met. So this is what is out there. It's and this has been, I think, what, 2.5, 3 years this statement has been done, this part.
yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
It was a nice statement. I did become a patron yesterday, mostly because of your statements.
Thank you very
Um,
much. I
and
need
because
lots
of the
lots
videos.
of more people like that. Thank you.
But I do fight internally, so I'm not sure how I honestly feel about it. I really want everyone in the world to have conflict
I'm in
resolution
front of you.
skills.
I'm telling you, this is in front of you. This is exactly what I go through all the time.
Yeah.
I can always have sessions where I ask Ken that, please do these sessions and we'll have a closed group and charge money for it. I have been speaking about it. This, if you read that skill development project that I'm going to speak on the last, what I did, of course, I've been talking about it. What I want to do is that everywhere in the world, whoever wants to put out anything for people to learn from comes in and says, I want to do a session on so and so day. We put it on the schedule. This is your session. It'll come to you, the information who wants to participate. You will send the Zoom link to them. You'll coordinate it with them. I'll do some basic structure for that, but it's your session so that you can have hundreds and thousands of these happening. So I don't have to be sitting in it, but to create a structure like a schedule that we have here, you have a schedule available. The only thing that's coming up is one, do we ask people to pay a specific amount to you, which you say, okay, for attending this, you have to pay me $20 or $50 or $100. That's up to you. It's your session. Do you want to do a specific amount? Because that's, or on the other end, send me a gift, whatever it might be. So that's an option. So that gifting culture, which I spoke about, and which I also with Ken also I was speaking about that. So you want to do it? So that's a discussion we'll have on the last day to see how do you want to charge? Because look, for me, I don't want to restrict it based on people's financial paying
Me
capacity.
either.
I've got messages from people that, okay, I mean, I can't pay whatever. I said, not a problem, but I wanted those responses. So someone tells me that yes, because for this conference, I sent out a message to a general. I keep testing things out. I sent out a message to participate, become a patron. Didn't get any answers for most people, but few said, look, I can't do it right now. I have a difficulty, and they're participating. I told them not an issue at all. But that's a response I got from them. It felt good. At least someone is wanting to communicate that. So I'm testing that part. But there was someone who'd studied from Pepperdine. He had contacted me that I want to do whatever. I said, why don't you become a patron? He said, I can't afford it. I said, look, the amount here, and it's not just Pepperdine, amazing qualifications. I said, if these qualifications you are not getting work, put it out. Come on one of the shows and talk about this, because I've been talking about this and how on one end the whole concept of training and education is happening. It's not translating for work for people. So come and talk about it. No, I don't want to do that. Look, no one wants to alienate people, which I am doing, which I'm very good at, alienating people. I said, talk about it, because some other people are being fooled to believe that if they go through this is what they'll earn out of it, or this has become a
Agreed.
profession for them. Talk about it. They didn't get back to, no, I don't want to do it. He sent a message saying, no, I don't want to do it at this point of time, because people don't talk about it. If they don't talk about it, other people keep going into that trap, which is what I've been trying to tell people, that don't get fooled. You're being misled to believe you are going to become an international mediator. Suddenly, oh, the crisis. Actually, I mean, there's one person on my shows, I think it was from Kenya. She said, I didn't have the money to do one of these programs. So whatever I had, whatever savings, I put that together. Huge amounts of money people are charging. I put that. Then my husband loaned me something. Whatever she said, she put money together to do that. Nothing, no work came out of it, and it's all on record. It's a recorded thing. I have all my conversations on all these on live, because all of them are important. She says that no work came to me. She didn't have work, and she spent all that money. So talk about it. Tell people that. So why not do
Yeah,
that?
I'm happy to talk about that. I've been talking about it in my community for a long time. One of the things that I've been saying this whole time, because I've been in education now for 10 years, as a single mom of 3, I had, little tiny children when I was going back for my bachelor's degree. And then I went in for my master's after that and ended up in a dual program. And when I went in for my bachelor's degree, it was to better my life for my future, for my children's future, and to honestly just to be able to rent a 3-bedroom house. And as I went through that program, I came out on the other end with a lot of debt and no way to make up, to work the amount that I needed to be comfortable enough to even rent a 3-bedroom house and pay back my student loans. So by the time I went back into my master's program, I was like, all right, now I'm going to have a master's program. I'm going to get out. I'm going to have the ability to rent a 3-bedroom home. Like, this is going to happen. So I went into my master's program, and I did a dual program. And by the time I came out, inflation was so high, I still cannot afford a 3-bedroom home. And that is with 2 master's degrees and a lot of experience. And so I'm now, and I'll tell everybody who listens, I'm $260,000 in debt for student loans. And I have to somehow pay that back, raise 3 kids. And by the way, I can't own a home because I have so much in student debt, even with my credit score being extremely high. And I had a very serious down payment. So I got very discouraged. I left my corporate world. I said, if I cannot even rent the home that I need for my family, and I'm making quite a bit of money every year, it's just not worth it. So now I'm finding a different path, right? I'm carving out a different path for myself, and I'm praying that it works. But it's a massive problem in the United States, where we go in and we pay so much money to have this degree, and it's supposed to alleviate our problems and level us up and help us in the world. And it's just not. I'm very disappointed in the outcome of my education.
Yeah, and this is a problem so many people are facing, and no one talks about it because maybe they feel if they alienate their institution, then maybe something which could have come through them is not going to come through. I don't know, whatever thoughts everyone has. Similarly, look, in terms of the mediator part of it, I've had this conversation now for about, I think at least the first one was 2.5 years back, almost 2 years. Yeah, 2.5 years back. Then the first symposium that I did in the situation in the US for mediators in the court system, that they do that training, whatever amount they spend, and they want to be recognized by lawyers, so they do it for free in courts, and private work doesn't come to them. And I'm sure you heard this before, but I will still repeat it. Private work doesn't come to them. They get disillusioned. They move out. A new lot comes in, which has also spent lots of money to be there. They do the same thing, and this rotation keeps happening. That disillusionment is happening on a large scale, but those numbers are never recorded because that person just moved out, and they are not going to fight anything. They're not even going to, where are they going to, what is the forum to talk about it? They tried. And on the other end, my problem is that there are people with the mediator mindset. They are put into a program which they sometimes don't even maybe connect to, because it's a very theoretical programming, a machine program. This is a human to human interaction, which everything can't be put into theory. So suddenly they start feeling that they don't know what to do, although they know everything about what to do in terms of mediation and everything. They think no, they don't fit in. They have a inferiority complex which they develop going through a program. They suddenly feel, oh, they won't be able to do it. This is some technical thing I have to do. I don't know. There's some, I mean, look, this is not, everything can't be put into theory, which is, I mean, of course, I mean, maybe small example is the manuals that you get with certain gadgets. If you look at those manuals, you say, what are they talking about? And so it's as simple as picking up the device and just doing it. Similarly, I've been saying about, say, tomorrow you'll say about mothers. I mean, we will train someone to be a mother. It's an experience, as a connection with your child. You will do it the way what has to be done. But can you, in a theoretical thing, even understand that? So a lot of things are not theoretical. Some things are experiential, and that is where the difference lies. So I don't want those people with the mediator mindset also get lost and lose their confidence. Well, they are the ones that we need out there. So there are a lot of things going around there which we need to discuss and put. Look, I've been doing my discussion, so it's not that I'm not doing it. I'm doing my work.
And I'll clarify, it's not the institution. I don't blame my educational institutions. It's just the culture of the world right now. And the inflation is really bad. And every time I got out of a program, inflation had increased so much that it just made it impossible. So it's not necessarily just my institution. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, from the institution point of view, okay, maybe not one particular institution, but at least the people who come out of institutions, who do go through this program and everything, thinking that this will be their livelihood, they don't collect together. So they're all
Yeah.
there, they come out and go out, but at least they are the alumni of a certain institution. So there are a lot of numbers involved there. I am saying just go out and say mediation is not going to be for free in courts. Just finish it.
Yeah.
No, they're not
Yeah.
going to go there. And all of these, it's just individuals who become mediators there. They say, no, we're not going to do it, and do it as en masse. We're not going to do it. That's when things start changing. That's when
Yeah.
things will change. So that's why I'm saying institutions can play a role in that sense, because they have so many people whom they can say that to. And I mean, the other side, the people will be told, no, you're going there, you're going to get your experience there, you'll learn so much more because you'll be actually handling things. What are you really handling? 30 minutes given to you to do a mediation? I mean, what kind of, it's a joke. Is that really mediation? So yeah, cut that out totally and let people experience it on a different level. So lots there, Erin, Jared, there's lots there. Don't get me started. Never get me started.
I
But
know.
we
Oh
were
man.
we were on the
And
right
talking
track
about the
with
courts and other things, yeah, about to get me started, and about paying mediators and how to make money as a mediator. Definitely, yeah, hot
no, it's
topics,
simple.
and I know a
Let me
lot of
tell you, it's
people
very
could
simple. There is
speak about that.
one particular mediator. Again, this is all recorded. He says that some people came to him for some work. He quoted a certain fee. They said, we'll get you appointed through the court. They went to the court, got him appointed for free. So it worked for them, and what it didn't work for the mediator. What are we trying to do? The court system is inefficient, so they want to get their workload out, and they have to put it out for free, because otherwise you will challenge that. No, we do not want it. We don't want to go there. We want you to decide for us, but you can't do it. You're inefficient. So you've created this process. So you're never going to in your system ever say the mediator should be paid fair value. You can't do it because people will object. It's been challenged in certain countries, and it was struck down. And now suddenly, I think there was one particular country. I think about, I don't know. Okay, don't quote me on the figures, but something like 5 to 10,000 mediators suddenly lost their work immediately. It was said that it's not constitutional to do this. So those issues will come up for them. So they'll keep saying it for free, and it's going to devalue mediators. It's going to devalue mediation. How do you develop it? If it's available for free, why would you then pay for something
I
that's available for free?
I will say that one of the most shocking things I learned at Pepperdine, and I don't know about you, Jared, but I went on the residency into LA down to, we went and saw jams and AAA and like the court system. We went and saw the police department. And when we were in jams, we were talking about mediations. And I was just blown away when I was told that for some of the top mediators at jams, a 2 to 3 day mediation can be $50,000 to $70,000. That blew my mind. How are we helping people that way? That's so much money.
No, these are large organizations. For them, it's really okay in terms of whether they're going through litigation or mediation. It's something that they are willing to pay. So that, look, it's a very limited. How many mediations the jams do in a year? Any idea?
They told us it was quite a bit.
How many?
I can't remember.
Tens of thousands, maybe.
No, 9,000.
Yeah,
They do 9,000. They do 9,000 mediations in the year.
Almost. Okay.
Yeah.
100 million cases get filed in courts in the US. This is not part of the larger scheme of things. This is just a very
what I mean
institution.
is like the it's drastic. We have $50,000 to $70,000 at one end, we have free at the other end.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then all of this in between. And it's very difficult to find a niche and to find a spot for yourself when there's this huge difference.
Yep. So now look, for me, the way I've looked at it, and after discussing with people around everywhere, for me, that mediation circles for me is the way, but it's a little long term, of course, because you're creating a culture. You're starting from the grassroots. Look, the multiplier effect can happen. When it happens, how it happens, it's like one video going viral or something for someone, and suddenly everyone's talking about it. How that's going to happen, let's see. But at least that will create something at the grassroots level. The need of something is only felt when you maybe experience it, and that's the problem here. Because again, you'll get me started. but I'll have to now. You just got me started. It is a mindset that has developed over
Yeah.
hundreds of years. That is the process to follow. That's the way you go. To change a mindset, which is what you're doing, to change that mindset, it's not going to be like this. It has to be experienced for it. My going out and giving all the good things about mediation and whatever, it works really well. It's not, it's an experience thing. One experience of a mediation, and then all this that you're talking about, conflict coaching and all, everything a person learns in that, everything gets taken off. All the training in the world happens for a participant in a mediation. That it has to be experienced. How do we make them experience it? Which means it has to be in a place where maybe certain stakes are not as high as it might be. Maybe, let's say, why do people take that decision? Why are they not taking that decision? So that you people should suggest that topic, and we should do it in the conference also. But that I've discussed it in certain other shows and other things, that we had one full discussion on this. Why is it not popular? One part, people want someone else to take a decision for them, all those kinds of things. So okay, whatever the reasons for that, the important thing is that experiencing it at the first level, do it. We have to do, that's why I say school and community, at least at that point of time. Maybe it's not an individual high stake thing for them. They may try it, and once you experience it, then there's one particular high value matter that I did, and that a large company legal head, he said, I become an evangelist of mediation. And in his 20 years of being working in a large company, he was with Unilever and for 20
Hmm.
years, and he never experienced it. And suddenly
Wow.
experiences become an evangelist of mediation. So it is, and there was no way he could have, he said, no, there was no way, mediation doesn't, what, I mean, there's no way that this can get settled, and it got settled. So, so that's
Hmm.
what I'm saying. This is like 20 years of practice as a legal head of working in the legal department of an organization. So it is something that people have to experience. How do you make them experience is the main thing. What I do is tell them, try it. You don't have to fix any particular fee, but you have to pay a fee based on whatever you feel at the end of the process. I mean, the people actually want to pay during the process also. I said, look, that's your wish. I have no issue. Once you start experiencing it, you realize the benefits of it. So they want
Yeah.
to, but they have to try it. So I do it that way. Okay, just try it. I mean, and they're fair. I'm telling you, they're fair. So,
Mm.
and of course, if there is greed, nothing is fair. So,
I was I
Well,
was just thinking
oh,
while you were talking, it's really important to be paid. And I think that as we talk about it in the end, how did you feel? How did this happen? How was this for you? Was this worth it for you? What would you say this would be worth financially? That kind of thing. I like that idea.
yeah, but the only thing is that Jared has to leave. He wants to say bye
Oh,
to
I
us.
do. Yes. I wanted to thank you for your
Never,
time
okay.
again. I'm glad
Whenever
that
you
we
fix up.
got to the
Yeah.
breadth of these different conversations. And I hope we do get to talk about a lot of these more, making money as a mediator, future of artificial intelligence. And I know we covered it just at the beginning, but also ombudsing too. We'll
Oh,
have to talk
was that
about
the
that
topic
more
today?
because we didn't quite get to that, but this just sets us up for next time. So we'll have to talk about it again. Thank you
Yes,
guys.
yes.
yeah.
Whenever you come into any of my events, please keep time. You know that things never happen
All
in
right.
1 hour. 1 hour, we just about
Yep,
get started.
definitely. All
So
right.
thank you,
Have a good
Jared.
one, guys.
And please come for other sessions. Bye. So, Erin, this is something that you have to put out there for people to experience. But the competition is free. That's the problem. The other
Yeah.
side of it is free, and this is where, I mean, how do you compete with that? So
Exactly.
competing is free is not the easiest thing to do. So we have to look. One way out is that as an individual or as a group, challenge this in the courts. Say that this
Yeah.
is it's against my basic freedom of doing business or profession or whatever, practicing my profession. If you're going to give it for free, then how do I develop it? Challenge it. That people have to do it here also, everywhere in the world. They should challenge that. I'm saying they don't need to challenge it, just stop doing it. What do you want to challenge it? So stop doing it if it's not available for free. It is individuals who are doing it. Then tomorrow, if machines start doing it, then you can't challenge the machine. That will be access to everyone. But today, when
Yeah.
humans are doing it, you can get that. I mean, just stop it. And that's what, but the issue here, what lies is that there are a lot of mediators, and I keep saying here also, I keep hearing this, mediators are doing it in the courts to be recognized by judges and want to
Yes,
become judges. So they're doing it for that. So everyone has their need that they're trying to, and their agenda. At the end of the day, who's going to stop doing it for free? I mean, when does,
exactly.
so there's lots
Well,
there. Yeah. So
thank you for having this today. I look forward to tomorrow's conversation as well.
please just join us. It's always nice to have you, and your perspective can take it in any direction.
Yeah,
Conversations are, we're not limited by any topic. We can go into whatever side we want. So,
one topic I do want to broach is trauma and mediation.
so why have you not
I
suggested it?
I'm going to suggest it right now. I'd like to set up some time to talk
We do
about
it right now.
trauma.
So we do it right now.
Yeah,
What
trauma
what time
is,
what time zone are you in?
I'm in Pacific.
Okay, for you,
So
the problem with you is that either right now all the 8:30 p.m. slots, which is your 8 a.m. slots, are all gone, and
yeah,
8 a.m. all gone. And the
okay.
thing is that I can't have anything longer. I mean, last one I can't have beyond 8:30 only because it ends at, like right now it's 10 o'clock here, and
Oh
this was
no.
it was a 8:30 slot. So only person that exception is for Ken, because he has that, he gives me the 9 a.m. slot, which is 9:30 p.m. here. So for that I start that, and that is during Pacific Daylight Time. Pacific
Okay.
Standard Time, his 9 o'clock is my 10:30. So we start that. For him, that exception is made, not for anyone else.
He is an amazing
Yeah.
man. I had the pleasure and opportunity of taking his class with Joan at Pepperdine, and it changed my life. This is what I'm doing now because of Ken.
So tell me, if a person like that and his wisdom, shouldn't it be available for everyone? Shouldn't it change
Yes,
everyone's lives? Which is what I did, which is what the idea behind this is. So I'm going through exactly what you were telling me. I could have easily limited these sessions and asked people to pay for them. The
sure.
easiest thing to do, which everyone is doing. I said no. So it's a decision you have to take, and I work with it on an everyday basis. I try to experiment, like I said, okay, conference, you did do that, but work has to still happen in the same way. I don't want to limit
Yeah.
the audience. But tell me, how early do you get up?
I am up at 6 a.m.
Perfect. So you can take a 6:30 a.m. slot, a 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
slot.
Yep.
Tell me, we have lots of you can open the schedule in front of you. I can open it here if you want. Just give me the
Yeah.
state and let's just do it. That's how it works.
Let's
Okay.
see.
So this week,
Open the
you want to do it
schedule.
this week?
Yeah, this week is fine.
This week.
I'm open this week. My children are out of school, so I don't have to go anywhere.
Only thing
So,
is that look, Saturday I can put that slot, but then it'll be too short because there's a 7 o'clock slot. So let's not do Saturday.
okay.
We can do Monday.
Yeah, Monday is fine.
Monday 6:30.
Yep. I'll get
Okay.
some slides going.
Oh, perfect. So we won't need time. So
Perfect.
that's what I like
6:30
about
a.m. on
Excel.
Monday. Right?
Yes. Keep it simple. Don't make it too complicated. Yes. What is the topic?
Trauma informed mediation.
Look, for me, we're obviously live and it's going out. For me, I don't even get to know this becomes part of what I do, but that's the way I like it. So we
Okay.
could always shut that after we type this in. We can shut this.
This
Is
is a
that okay?
big topic for, yeah, HAN. It's MOYNAHAN.
Right.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect. So this is done.
Awesome.
Any
I'm
other
so
topic?
looking forward to it.
Any other topic that comes to your mind? Please. We have, look, 6:30 slots.
Emotions management and mediation. That
One sec.
is something that I teach often.
You want to do that? We have the Wednesday,
Yes.
21st slot. You want to do it on 21st?
Yes. Wednesday the 21st.
This is what I needed. I wanted people to come up with these kinds of things. This was the whole idea. I think my issue is that I don't put out information much in advance.
Yeah.
I
Well, that's okay.
because I mean, look, this one event that mediation legislation was going on, and then after that, this had so I was there was not enough time to announce it in advance because that symposium was going on. Yes, what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I see you have on the 20th, you have emotions management and mediation. Would you like me to join that one?
Yeah, please join it.
Okay.
Only the issue there is that it's a half an hour session because she wants to do it in Spanish also. So that's
Okay, so then
30
let's do
minutes.
another session on
Yeah,
emotions management.
let's call it something else.
Okay.
Emotions and mediation.
Yeah, sure.
I like my topics nice and broad.
Well, actually, it's more about growing as a person, as yourself. It's more about being in tune with your own emotions. So yeah, emotions and mediation is
It's
fine.
wide enough to cover
Yeah.
everything. Why should we have a problem with that? Okay, am I getting this? If I get the spelling wrong, I'm reading it on from your name up there. So I shouldn't
It's
get it wrong. I
okay.
shouldn't get it
You
wrong. I
got it
shouldn't
right.
get it wrong.
I liked your message yesterday too with the AKA Vikram. My phone changed your name. That was so funny.
Okay, good. So now basically all 6:30 slots also gone. Okay, we have one left in on 27th. Beyond that,
On the
all done.
27th.
So we're almost done now. I don't think I can put in
Okay.
more slots. Only thing is that
That's
if you
awesome.
if we can put, I mean, whenever if you are a late night person, then we do
Mm-hmm.
have these late night for you late night, my morning slots. That those are always
Okay.
available. But imagine that Helen has taken this slot. She's in Canada. It'll be something like 2 or 3 a.m. for her. And I
Oh,
said,
wow.
why don't you fix up some other time? She said, no, it's okay. Let's do this.
That's commitment right there.
Yeah. I said, no way. Can you be in a conference state of mind at that time? But she has that passion. She has that passion. So yes, she's
That's
doing it.
wonderful.
So Erin, a pleasure speaking to you. And of course, join the sessions tomorrow. And of course, your sessions are coming up. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vikram. It was very nice to see you.
Yep.